Yo, what is up, my movie freaks? Welcome back to another dope-ass episode of Mike and Juju's Movie Corner. I am, as always, your boy and your host, Mike.
And I'm the better-looking co-host, Juju.
Whatever, alright. Today, you already know, we're diving deep into something new, and this one might be my all-time favorite classic, y'all. We're talking about Francis Ford Coppola's The Outsiders.
That's right. We're taking it back to 1983, back to Tulsa, Oklahoma, where the Greasers and the Sosas were beefing hard.
Yeah, this movie is so stacked, y'all, with young talent that was just about to blow up. I mean, come on, y'all. Patrick Swayze, Rob Lowe, Emilio Estevez, Matt Dillon, Tom Cruise, Ralph Macchio, the Karate Kid himself, and you cannot forget about C. Thomas Howell.
Basically, the entire 80s Brat Pack before they were even called that.
Yeah, for real. Alright, first, we'll give you guys a spoiler-free overview for those of you who haven't seen it yet.
If you haven't seen The Outsiders by now, what are you even doing with your life?
Chill, bro. Hey, then we'll dive into the plot, behind-the-scenes stuff, some cool trivia maybe, and our hot takes.
And as always, we'll end with our famous rating, Mike and Juju's rating system.
Let's get this show on the road. Alright, so for those three people out there who have not seen The Outsiders, here's what you need to know without ruining the story.
It's based on S.E. Hinton's novel from 1967, which is crazy because she wrote it when she was just 16 years old.
Yeah, that's wild. I could barely write a decent essay at 16.
You still can't write a decent essay.
Shut your mouth, man. Alright, so the movie is set in the 1960s in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And it follows this group of working class teens called the Greasers.
Yeah, and they're constantly at odds with the rich kids, the Sosas, short for socials.
Yeah. So our main character is Tony Boy Curtis, y'all, played by C. Thomas Howell, who lives with his older brothers after their parents are unalived in a car accident.
And the movie kicks off when a confrontation between the Greasers and the Sosas go way too far, leading to, well, we won't spoil it for you.
Yeah, it's all about loyalty, family, both blood and chosen, social class, divide, and coming of age in a world that seems stacked against you.
The film has this beautiful, almost dreamlike quality to it. The sunset scenes are iconic.
Yeah, Coppola really captured the essence of the novel. And this cast delivers performances that stick with you. Even though many of them were just starting their careers.
If you're into classic coming-of-age stories with heart, brotherhood, and some intense moments, you need to check this out.
Yeah.
That's all we'll say for now, without spoilers.
Trust us, it is worth your time. Alright, so now we're getting into that spoiler territory. So if you haven't seen The Outsiders, take your ass out and watch it. Come back, and we will be right here waiting.
No, we won't. But seriously, spoilers ahead, people.
The movie opens up with Pony Boy writing the story that we're about to see. When I stepped out into the bright sunlight from the darkness of the movie house, I had only two things on my mind: Paul Newman and a ride home.
That opening line has lived in my head rent-free since I first saw this movie.
Same, bro. Pony Boy is walking home from the movies when a group of Sosas roll up in their fancy car and start beefing with him.
And that's when the rest of the Greasers show up. His brother Soda Pop Daryl and their crew Dally, Johnny, Two Bit, and Steve.
Yeah. The Sosas drive off when the other guys show up, of course. But this whole scene, it sets up the tension that runs through this entire film.
Then there's this really cool scene where Pony Boy and Johnny are at the drive-in. And they meet these two salsa girls, Cherry and Marcia.
Yeah. Cherry Valance, played by the beautiful Diane Lane. And she was only like 18 when they filmed this.
And Dallas starts being a total jerk to the girls. But Johnny stands up to him, which is huge because Johnny is usually super quiet after getting jumped badly by the Sosas before the movie starts.
Yeah, they kind of let you know that pretty quick. Later that night, though, Pony Boy comes home late, and his oldest brother, Derry, gets really upset, played by Patrick Swayze, by the way, smacks him, and this causes Pony Boy to run out of the house because this has never happened before, and he runs to meet Johnny out at the park.
They end up at the park where they run into the same Sosas from earlier, including Cherry's boyfriend, Bob.
Yep, drunk. And things escalate quickly. And the Sosas, man, they not only beat him up, but they have Pony Boy, like, in the fountain, like, drowning him practically. And, like, Johnny already carries that blade on him, so you already know what happened. He defends, stabs, and Bob ends up unalive.
This is where the movie really kicks into high gear. Pony Boy and Johnny panic and go to Dallas for help.
Yeah. And Dally, he comes through, gives them money, a gun, a place to go and hide out in this old abandoned church where nobody find them in Wintervicksville, I believe.
While they're hiding out, there's this beautiful sequence where they're reading Gone with the Wind, cutting their hair, and Pony Boy recites the Robert Frost poem, Nothing Gold Can Stay.
Nature's first green is gold, her hardest hue to hold. Man, like that scene gets me every time.
Eventually, Dally comes to check on them and takes them out for some food. While they're gone, they notice the church is on fire.
Yeah, and they can see that there's kids trapped inside of the church still. And without any hesitation, your boy Johnny jumps up against the words of Dally and runs in to help. So Pony Boy follows.
They get the kids out, but Johnny is seriously injured when a burning beam falls on his back.
Yeah, and all three boys are then rushed to the hospital where Johnny is stuck in critical condition with a broken back and really severe burns.
Meanwhile, the Greasers and Sosas have agreed to settle their beef with a rumble.
Rumble!
Winner takes control of the neighborhood.
And the Greasers win the fight.
After the rumble, Dally and Pony Boy rush back to see Johnny.
I just want to say something about the Rumble real fast. It's some of the best scenes because it's not, I mean, it is 1980s choreographed fight. But the great part about it is Dally was in the hospital a little longer, but he walks out so he can make it to the Rumble. The Rumble hasn't started. Dally comes running, jumps off a car, jumps in the air and punches somebody and is like, nobody starts a Rumble without me. And at that same moment, poor Pony Boy, this is his first Rumble. And pow, somebody hits him first right after that, and he's down the entire fight. Anyway, that's all I want to say.
After the Rumble, Dally and Pony Boy runs back to Johnny, but he died. And Pony Boy to stay gold.
Yeah, it's really sad. He has that whole, like, I'm only 16. I ain't never done anything, man. I haven't seen anything. Like, it's sad. And Dally, I mean, this really sends him into a spiral. And what's he do? He goes off and acts like a jackass in a store. Yeah, he ends up in a convenience store and he's reading a magazine. And the guy's like, if you're not gonna pay for that, you can't read it. And of course, he's already fucking hot-headed. So he rips it up in front of the dude. Dude says he's gonna call the cops. So at that point, he pulls out his gun, which ain't even loaded, and I think he robs the place. Which all leads to the police shooting him in the park before the gang can get to him to help.
It's this really powerful scene where you see Dallas choosing to die rather than live in a world without Johnny.
Yeah, and the movie ends up with Pony Boy starting to write about this experiences, which turns into this story that we just watched. bringing everything full circle.
It's a perfect ending to a story about youth, loss of innocence, and finding your own path.
Definitely. All right, let's get into some of this cool behind-the-scenes shit about The Outsiders.
Did you know this whole movie happened because of a school librarian and her students?
Yes, like for real, y'all. A school librarian in Fresno named Jo Ellen Masakian and her students wrote to Francis Ford Coppola begging him to make S.E. Hinton's book into this movie.
And Coppola actually read the letter in the book and decided to do it. That's insane.
Yeah, definitely. When you consider he was coming off of films like The Godfather and Apocalypse Now, I mean...
The casting process for this movie is legendary. They did this massive search for young actors and pretty much every male actor who was anybody in the 80s audition.
Yeah. Tom Cruise was originally going to play 2-Bit, but he campaigned really hard for the role of Steve. So then Emilio Estevez, who was picked to play Steve, ended up playing 2-Bit, and if you ask me, 2-Bit is such a better character.
Yeah, Coppola had every actor try every role for the best fit. It was musical chairs with these roles.
During filming, though, Coppola had all the actors playing greasers stay together, and all the actors playing Sosas stay separate to create this real tension between the group.
Yeah, and he encouraged the greaser actors to stay in character, even when the cameras weren't rolling. They would pull pranks on each other, wrestle, and bond like real brothers would.
Yeah, Ralph Macchio, who played Johnny, he was only 16 in the movie, but he was actually 21, I think, when he filmed this.
And the youngest was actually C. Thomas Howell, who was just 16, unlike his character Ponyboy, who was 14. Also, one of my favorite behind-the-scenes stories is how Diane Lane, who played Charity, had a crush on Dallas in real life. I mean, Matt Dillon.
Yeah, right? They actually dated for a while after the movie wrapped up, I think, like a real Hollywood romance, baby.
S.E. Hinton was on set almost every day during filming, which is pretty rare for authors when their books get adapted.
Yeah, I think she has a cameo as a nurse in Johnny's hospital room, maybe.
And get this, she was only 15 when she started writing the novel, and 16 when she finished it. Talk about talented.
Yeah, the book was published when she was 18, I believe. And meanwhile, I could barely write a text message at 18.
You still can't.
All right, enough of his shit. Time for some random trivia that'll make you sound smart at all your parties.
Or at least impress your data if they're into classic movies.
Right? First up, the movie's budget was only about $10 million, which was pretty modest even for 1983.
And it made around $25 million at the box office. So, it was a solid hit, but not a blockbuster.
Yeah. This movie was filmed in Tulsa, Oklahoma, like we said, just like in the book, to keep it authentic.
The Curtis house in the movie was an actual house in Tulsa that they dressed up for filming.
And I think that house is still there. We should drive up there and check it out. Alright, for the famous Stay Gold scene, Coppola played a recording of the Robert Frost poem read by Frost himself to help C. Thomas Howell get the right feeling for the role.
That's such a director move. Speaking of that scene, the sunset they're watching, that was natural. Coppola saw the sunset happening and quickly got the cameras rolling to capture it.
Yeah, no CGI back then, baby. Just pure golden hour magic.
Ralph Macchio prepared for his role as Johnny by isolating himself from the rest of the cast at first, to really feel Johnny's outsider status.
And Tom Cruise, being Tom Cruise even back then, he did his own stunts in the Rumble scene and on the way to the Rumble, the backflip he does off the car. Yeah.
Matt Dillon actually broke his finger during filming, but kept going without telling anyone until they finished the take.
Yeah, that's commitment. Like the film's original score as well was composed by Carmen Coppola, Francis Ford Coppola's dad.
The book is slightly different than the movie, of course, but just little details.
Yeah, like in the novel, Soda Pop has this girlfriend named Sandy who cheats on him and gets pregnant after cheating on him. And so she bounces out and moves to Florida. But that whole subplot acts from the movie.
The book is told entirely from Pony Boy's first-person perspective, but the movie does expand that a bit to show the scenes Pony Boy wasn't present for.
Yeah. Did you know that Leif Garrett, who was originally cast to play 2-Bit, ended up playing a Sos named Bob Shelton, I believe?
Talk about a crossover. And here's a weird connection. Emilio Estevez, who played 2-Bit, is Charlie Sheen's brother. And Charlie Sheen later starred in Red Dawn with C. Thomas Howell, who played Pony Boy, and Patrick Swayze, who played Derry.
Yeah. 6 Degrees of Separation or 6 Degrees of Outsiders.
Allegedly, the switchblade Johnny uses in the movie was actually a prop from Apocalypse Now, another Coppola film.
Reusing props. Like, that's sustainability before it was cool, y'all.
The hospital that Johnny stays in was actually a working hospital in Tulsa at that time.
Yeah, and one last cool fact, y'all. Nicolas Cage, who is Francis Ford Coppola's nephew, visited the set several times during this filming.
Can you imagine a young Nick Cage hanging out with all these future stars?
Right?
That would have been wild.
Yeah. Let's talk about the lasting impact of The Outsiders. Because, hey, this movie definitely left its mark.
Oh, for sure. First of all, it launched or boosted so many careers. Patrick Swayze, Rob Lowe, Tom Cruise, all these guys became huge stars afterward.
And it also helped cement that teen movie as a legitimate genre that could tackle serious themes and not just be like about some stupid prom and stuff.
The film has this unique visual style that influenced a lot of later coming up age films. That dreamy golden hour lighting has been copied countless times.
Yeah, the whole Greasers versus thing became a cultural touchstone for talking about class divisions in America, let's be honest.
And phrases like "stay gold, Pony Boy" have entered the pop culture lexicon. People who haven't seen the movie know that line.
Right. Like, there was even a short-lived TV series based on the movie that came out in 1990, which picked up, like, the day after Dally's shot by the cops.
Really? Never knew about that.
Yeah, it only lasted like one season, of course, and it wasn't that great, and it didn't have any of the original cast, but, you know.
The film also sparked renewed interest in S.E.'s Hinton's other novels like Rumblefish, which Coppola also adapted into a movie with Matt Dillon.
You're definitely right, Juju. Rumblefish, it came out the same year or right after The Outsider, and it has a very different visual style. Like, it's set in a black and white filming with just a few color elements for that effect of...
The success of The Outsiders also helped prove that young adult novels could make successful films way before Hunger Games or Twilight.
And the film's exploration of toxic masculinity and vulnerability among young men, that was really groundbreaking for his time.
Exactly. That scene where Derry breaks down crying after Pony Boy comes home sick. That showed that even the toughest guys have emotions.
Yeah, the brotherhood aspect of the film, it really resonates even today. Like the idea that your friends can become your family.
Yeah. And the themes of class struggle are unfortunately still relevant in 2025.
Yeah. The Outsiders also had this unique quality of being both of its time and a little timeless, you know?
Definitely. The fashion and cars are pure 60s, but the emotions and conflicts could be happening today.
Yeah. In 2023, they announced that The Outsiders was being adapted into a Broadway musical.
I actually love to see that. The story has that epic emotional quality that could work really well as a musical.
I'm not personally big on musicals, but maybe. But overall, I think The Outsiders does stand as this perfect time capsule of both the 60s era and the time that it was made in the 80s. You know what I mean?
And it's one of those rare films that teenagers and adults can both connect with on different levels.
To our personal takes on this classic, Juju.
I'll go first. For me, The Outsider hits different because it doesn't talk down to its audience.
Yeah.
These are teenagers dealing with life and death, loyalty and family trauma. Real stuff.
Absolutely. And these performances, they feel authentic. Like, you believe that these guys have been friends for a really long time.
My favorite character has always been Dallas. Matt Dillon plays him with this perfect balance of toughness and vulnerability.
Yeah, he's a great character. Personally, I've always connected with Pony Boy. Like, that feeling of being caught between two worlds. Like, you're sensitive, but you're still part of the tough guy crew, you know?
Exactly. The scene that always gets me is Johnny when Johnny dies and tells Pony Boy to stay gold, man. I tear up every single time, man.
It's hard not to. Alright, for me, it's the combination of the end when Dallas, after everything's already happened, after Johnny's gone, and Dallas, for no reason other than his own, like, shit going on.
And your struggles.
Right. When he gets unalived. Like, that's powerful stuff.
If I had to critique anything, I say some of the symbolism is a bit heavy-handed. Like, we get it. Sunsets represent innocence and beauty in a harsh world.
Pardon me, everyone. Entertainment purposes only. Alright, entertainment purposes only. You can't talk that way about this movie. Nothing bad about it. No critique. But I think that what you're saying does fit with the fact that our narrator is a sensitive, poetry-loving 14-year-old.
Fair point. Fair point. So, on our famous Mike and Juju's smoke room scale, where do you rate it?
This is an easy stay-go for me. Our highest rating today. Like, it's a perfect film that I can rewatch anytime and still be invested and get emotional.
I'm with you. Definitely stay go rating. It's one of those movies that actually gets better with age, you know.
Yeah. And these performances, the cinematography, the soundtrack, like, it all works together perfectly.
And it's one of those rare cases where the movie is actually as good as the book. Maybe because S.E. Hinton was so involved.
Agreed. 100%, Juju.
So, there you have it, folks. The Outsiders gets our highest stay gold rating.
That's right. All right. That wraps up our deep dive into The Outsiders. Like, what a film. What a cast. And what a story, y'all.
Before we go, let's remind everyone to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next episode.
Next, we will be... I almost got away with it.
And don't forget to check out our other shows on our playlist right here on Mike and Juju Smoke Room.
Alright, y'all have to wait till next week, since Juju won't let me tell y'all, to find out what our next show is going to be about. If you have any suggestions, though, for movies you want us to cover in the future, drop them in the comments below.
As always, stay
gold,
movie freaks.
Yeah, that's our line now. Stay gold, movie freaks. And we'll see you next time on Mike and Juju's Movie Corner. Right here on the one and only Mike and Juju Smoke Room. I am your boy and your host, Mike, and I appreciate you all.
I'm your co-host, Juju, and I also appreciate y'all.
We'll see y'all next time. Peace.